In honor of Emily, I had to.
Even here it is followed. All right. So we're back with some Lavender Shadows. And I think what we open up with is Viviane. It's brunch time, and you're having tea with your mother, probably, and in the garden. And you get a letter.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, so like one of the servants, right, comes in and says, "Letter for you, Miss Viviane." And then like sets it on the table.
Cool.
Do you
She
just
gets all excited and opens it.
Hastily open it up. It's from.
She probably doesn't even look at who it's from.
Yeah. So do you just start reading it then?
I mean, yeah.
Without
probably.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, I feel like you would recognize the handwriting of the person you're expecting this to be from, and so it's not that handwriting.
Okay.
And you look, You look and you see, and it's from young Lord Frederick Claver. And he's basically writing you a letter, basically saying, dear Viviane, I'm trying to think of exactly what he is saying, because like we have a particular modern conception of how dating goes, and this is not how this is.
Right.
I'm trying to think of whether or not he would just like propose to you.
Oh gosh.
Or if we haven't reached that point yet, and like what would be the steps leading up to that. I think he says, oh, I know what he says. He says, dear Viviane, and something along the lines of, just normal like pleasantries, hope you're doing well, so on and so forth, various random soothing platitudes. And basically he's inviting you to a ball that's being held at his family's estate in a week or two, and basically saying, hey, will you be my the lady on my arm sort of a thing for this event. I felt like we didn't have as much chance to get to know each other as I would have liked in our last excursion.
Because someone died.
Exactly. Yeah, he's tactfully leaves that part out. But yeah, he basically asks you that, and then says, I await your reply. Are you gonna go against your instinct here?
I mean, oh gosh, I didn't even think of that. Oh my gosh.
That's all I remember. Viviane has an instinct.
She would send a swiftly written reply. I'm just trying to think of what she would say.
Mm-hmm.
Because she wants to be nice and everything, but she doesn't really know what to do right now.
It's fair.
I mean, yeah, she would accept. Yeah. But
you should do like some kind of power play where you're like, and may Joe come as well.
I mean, I think it's assumed that she would need to.
I think, yeah.
Is it though? Because Joe and him didn't exactly get along last time.
Yeah, but without you, I can't really communicate with anyone unless they like write something down.
That's true. Also, I think it's a fair assumption to think like he would have specified, right? Like, I want to get to know you just by yourself. That he would have said something like that, right? And I think it's a fair assumption.
That's fine.
You know enough about social cues, Viviane, to understand that much, at least.
I think what she says in response is, I would love to attend. Joe and I will look forward to it.
Right, yeah, just to make it clear that this is the way that's set up. Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah. So you send that swiftly written letter. And so you're going to attempt here to, again, not offend him. And what's your intent exactly with this letter?
I mean, to like, I guess to make it clear, like, how do I even say this? Like, to kind of continue to hint at, hey, I'm not really interested in you this way. I'm just kind of doing this for formality's sake. But, like, to not be mean about it, to be, like, her own sweet self. Be like, I don't know what else to say here.
I don't know why I took a bite of that. So what in what you wrote would imply that to him?
I mean, that I say that Joe and I are looking forward to it, not just, oh, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, obviously
Okay.
that would also clarify that Joe would be there, but like we said, that's kind of assumed.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I don't know if there's enough context there for him to understand that. So give me like one more sentence in the letter somewhere where you would try to subtly hint at the fact that like I view this as like an obligation or a formality more than I'm actually interested. Like letting him down easy.
Hmm.
And if anyone else has an idea too of
Yes,
what you could
please.
say.
P.S. You ugly. You make it obvious.
That's the exact opposite of what I'm trying to do.
I mean, you can point out the obvious fact that you're going to a ball, but you're deaf, and so I don't know. No, maybe that wouldn't work. Because I mean, you can still dance even though you're deaf.
Right.
I don't know.
What was that?
That was Ryan. I don't know. I mean, maybe you're. I mean, because isn't your goal though to figure out if he likes you or not?
Yeah, that's why I'm trying
So,
to.
like,
I'm
that's-
trying to leave it open ended enough so that, like,
So I
obviously
don't think
she's
you're-
going, but
Right. I just don't think that's your intent maybe here, right?
okay, that's fair.
It's your intent maybe to because if she still has that belief, if she still has the belief that I want to find out if he's interested in me or not,
Right.
then I feel like you could have a different intent and not have to change the letter at all.
Right.
But it would be something along the lines of like testing the waters to see how he would respond to your how would you respond to Joe being there, because
Yeah.
it's something that you need. And so if he cares about you as a person, he's not going to be miffed by that.
Mm-hmm.
But also maybe yeah, I mean maybe that's enough.
You
Sure.
could also see if like maybe he'd be open to you like doing some of the flower arrangements or something like that for the ball. Because if he cares about you, he'd let you do that. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, but I don't know how much control he has over that.
Yeah.
If it's his ball, but I don't know.
He's just inviting.
I don't
him
know.
to it.
I'm just throwing out ideas.
Well, I mean, Viviane, how much do you know about the Kleber estate?
How much do I know?
I don't know. Do you have a skill for that?
Um,
You could also ask your mom, who's standing right here.
that's
sitting right
true.
here.
I mean, yeah, I would ask her, like, how much do we actually know about this family?
Oh yeah, and I think she says, "Oh well, his father just recently passed away, only a month or so ago. That's
Okay.
what makes this all so
She
sudden."
feels even more horrible.
Right. You know, that's what makes this all so strange and sudden, because he wouldn't have been the heir if his father hadn't passed away. Right? Like, that's the
Right.
whole thing there. And so he basically says, like, yeah, like this. I think she says maybe something along the lines of, it's possible that his mother is the primary planner behind this arrangement, but it may be his ideas too.
Okay. Is there more that I could learn about?
What do you want to ask her about?
Um,
And I guess I just assumed that you told her like that what the letter was about.
right.
But if that's not a thing you did, then we can backtrack.
No, she would.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she'd probably just ask random stuff like how many siblings does he have, and like what is their family known for, like what are their occupations typically, or like what have they done in their lives. Like,
Okay.
just...
Yeah, so she gives you some basic information. He has two sisters, two younger sisters. And I mean, one of them is a nun. And the other, like the youngest sister, is a nun. And the middle sister is she mostly spends her time like painting. She's not quite married yet, but she's not old enough that would be odd yet necessarily. But she spends a lot of her time painting. And I guess, yeah, I mean, the mother is basically, she just like runs the estate at this point. And then is probably in the business of getting him married. So that he can be, because right now he's young Lord Frederick Kleber, which is different from Lord Frederick Kleber, because I think, and this is just a kind of random thing that you know about the culture. They're called young lords if they're not married, or if they're young enough to not be married yet. That's the kind of technical term for that title. He considers, it's considered that he, what's the word I'm looking for? He's considered as coming into his full inheritance and birthright when he actually is married. For right now, he's called young Lord Frederick Kleber. So he'll have more legal rights and stuff when he's actually Lord Frederick Kleber. So he's definitely, I mean, he's on the lookout for a wife. Probably is his main thing right now. He probably, I mean, I don't know if your mother would necessarily say this in yeah, you probably don't know too much about him as like a person or his personal life, but I guess she mentions just briefly that like it didn't seem like he was terribly interested in that before his father died, but obviously it's important now because it has to be important now. So, and that's all. She doesn't really know him personally, so that's just like the normal, the basic information.
But I get the idea that he's kind of just succumbing to formalities too because he has to.
He may be, or he may be doing it because he's like, power. Like, I need power.
Right.
Or he's doing it because he legitimately just had a change of heart and wants to get married. All three are technically legitimate options. You don't know enough about the guy, and she doesn't either to make a call on that.
Okay.
Yeah. So you want to write back this letter and basically have it be, hey, you know, Joe's coming. You should be okay with that because you should be interested in me. This is very subtle.
Yeah.
So your intent basically is like to what? To find out if he's interested, to like have him play his hand to let him know that he's legitimately interested in you as a person, or do you want it to be that you sway him by the letter to be interested in you as a person?
She wants to know if, like, right now, is he actually interested in her?
Tara, no bite. Okay. Yeah, so you want him to play his hand and let you know, for sure.
Yeah.
So what I think, and you need to add one thing to the letter, and it's a reason to write back to you.
Okay, right.
Right? So, like, an RSVP is one thing. He's not necessarily going to write back to you about that, per se, at least not immediately. But if you give him something where it's like, I want to have a continued conversation about something, that might be, like, literally just like asking him a question, like, you know, or like implying that you want him to keep writing to you. That would probably be the thing. Because then if he does, then obviously he cares enough at least to do that.
Yeah. Oh.
You know, you could ask him, what sort of floral arrangements are going to be at the ball?
Yeah, okay,
right?
yeah, that's totally... She would ask that both because she's interested in the flower arrangements and because she wants to be able to... Well, she probably wants to play it off as, like, so that my dress can match.
Exactly. Perfect. Okay, so that sounds subtle, but it's good. And I'm trying to think of what the obit, or what the task is, rather. What the skill you're using. So basically, you're actually it would just be right. You're writing him a letter. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Of course. Awesome. Cool. Yeah. Let's do it.
Cool.
You're writing a letter. Let's look at what the opposite would be. Yeah, to write a letter that gets him to respond to you and tell you the floral arrangements, I think would be an op 3.
Okay. Would soothing platitudes apply to this?
I think so. I think you can fork it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would etiquette also apply to this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Certainly. I mean, it would be expected that you would want to
Right.
have your dress match.
Yeah. Okay. So remind me how to roll this.
You're going to click on that D6 next to the right skill.
Okay.
It's going to pop up a thing that says modifiers. You're going to put in 1 or 2, rather.
Okay.
And submit. I don't think
And
you have
then
a persona point to
obstacle?
use, so yeah, the obstacle is going to be 3.
3. Oof. Okay.
And submit on through.
Yay!
Yay! Nice job. So you write this swiftly written reply, and you send it out, and it accomplishes what you wanted to accomplish. And I think it would be a fun thing to establish that in the city of Anasteire, it works a lot like the English country in a particular time and place was, where like there's like 3 different times that you would get letters because the postal service is so like intense. And so I think you get a letter by that evening that is like a response, and is like he writes back and says, and explains, I think, that it's going to be like lavender is like purple and like
course.
purple and trying to think of like another color that goes with that. Like lavender.
Green?
Yeah, lavender, and then just more like earthy tones, like green and brown, and that's he kind of explains, and I think he explains too, and I think because you succeeded, I think he at least seems. Again, it's hard to understand exactly a person's intentions through written letter. But you definitely get the impression that he is interested in telling you because he is making an effort to care about the things you care about. And so I think he even in the letter, almost does an, oh yeah, I forgot that you really like flowers. And then he asks you a couple of questions about do you grow this type of flower in your garden? And then something about, the lavender, and then maybe something about, maybe I'm horrible when it comes to fashion. What color do you think, now that I've told you the flower arrangements, what color do you dress are you going to wear, sort of a thing. And that's the kind of the gist of the letter. It's pretty informal, just hey, let's talk about a thing, I guess.
You're gonna make it really hard for me to turn this guy down.
That's my goal.
Suffering.
Exactly. You tell me you care about something and I challenge you.
Okay. I mean, she'd send a swiftly written response. And I mean, just answer his questions and say, what were the things he asked again?
Do you grow lavender in your garden? And what color dress are you wearing? I'm horrible with fashion. What makes sense to wear now that I've given you the colors that, the type of floral arrangements we're having?
Yeah. So I think she'd say, I do grow lavender. It's a beautiful flower and has an amazing scent. And, I mean, does she know that he knows at least the color of the flower?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's
well, then if she's gonna wear something purple, she's probably maybe I'd suggest wearing something more neutral.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you ask him any follow-up questions to continue a conversation going, or is it because we don't have to play out every letter, but
Yeah.
does the conversation continue at that point, or do you kind of like try to end the letter stream and see what he does?
I think she tries to end it. Not like deliberately, but like.
Okay. I feel like this is another write test, right? You're trying to write the letter in such a way because okay. Is your intent here to test him to see if he does care enough to write back, or is it to literally get him to stop writing you because you don't want to get a letter back, or both?
Gosh, it's like, I mean, it's both. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You wouldn't be terribly disappointed if
she's testing him, but she wants a certain result.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
But she also doesn't want that certain result. It's very complicated.
So which is more important? Do you want him to, like, what's the success condition?
Oh gosh. I don't even know.
You're probably in like your study now because it's evening.
Yeah.
Writing this letter. Just to give us a visual.
I mean, for story purposes, and because I think it'll be interesting with the character, I want him to seem disinterested after this letter. Not like disinterested, but like to not necessarily try to write.
Right. So
like,
you want to write it in such a
reply.
way, write it in such a way that makes it clear
It
to
kind of
him
ends the
the conversation is over
Yeah.
for now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, sounds good. Write another ob 3 write test.
Okay.
And, sounds like etiquette and soothing platitudes also apply here. Or maybe even persuasion. Actually, probably all 3.
Oh, gosh.
If you want to. But again, you don't have to fork in all of these things. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Isn't it helpful always?
It's helpful, but it could also, she doesn't get any tests for these because he's routine and she has a 5 in write. So if she wants to metagame the system a little bit and make it more difficult for her to succeed, but give her the test that she needs to actually advance it, then she can do that.
Oh,
That's
I
an option
see.
you always have.
Oh.
Yeah, you succeeded. All right,
Oh,
so he
nice.
gets the message and he stops writing.
Cool.
He literally gets the message.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think after we see you give this to the post guy and you're one of your servants and he goes to the place to send it. Your mother walks in again, and she says, "Dinner is ready, Viviane, darling." Just, signing.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah, she goes to dinner.
And then you're on the way, you're walking down, and I think we see this. You guys aren't in like super fancy dresses because you're at your house,
Right.
But we see you like the glamorous shot of you guys walking down this like double staircase, right? Walking down, and you can see the gallery below, and then you would have to turn the corner into the dining room. We see you guys like walking down this grand staircase, red carpet going up of it, tapestries everywhere, showing your like family history and stuff. And your mother gets your attention and signs. Have you thought any more about what I've asked of you? What me and your father have asked of you?
She says, I'm very eager to get candy. Wow. But yeah. Whoa. She says, yes, I've thought about it, and I've been in correspondence with young Lord Friedrich.
You basically say, I've been writing letters with him.
Yeah.
Don't worry. And I think her face brightens and she says, so you've decided to go forward with it then? Don't choke.
Mm-hmm.
Your father will be oh so disappointed if you step out of this now. And she says that with almost like a, oh, you wouldn't want to disappoint your father, would you?
Yeah.
And you know
right.
that from her, she actually means that. Like, she's not trying to manipulate you. That's what she means.
Right,
she wants
right.
to keep her husband happy.
Right. Oh, no.
I will make my decision at the ball, mother.
You have a belief about this.
Yeah, she says something along the lines of, like, I would like to get to know him a little better before I'm able to make a decision like that.
Okay. I think that's a test. Because what you want her to do, right, is leave you alone for now.
Yeah.
Do you think that's persuasion or soothing platitude? It's one of those.
Soothing platitudes.
Yeah, you're trying to just, like, calm her down. Let's just, okay, don't get excited. Like, give me some time. Okay, yeah, you can roll a soothing platitudes test here.
Okay.
This is a good skill for you to have.
Something I could fork in persuasion to?
I think so. Yeah, that makes sense. This is a kind of 1-2 punch sort of a deal.
Cool.
Okay. Where is soothing platitudes? There it is. Base obstacle for the soothing platitudes is the victim's will. So I'll give you the ob here.
So horrible.
I know, yeah. I'll give you the ob, and you can decide if you want to try to lobby for any other modifiers or whatever. Oh gosh. Yeah, it turns out your mom's an older lady with a lot of experience. So she has a will of 6.
Oh gosh. Can I fork an etiquette to this too?
Yeah. It seems like proper etiquette to not force something like this. Like, yeah, don't be rude, mother, right?
Could you also fork in astrology and risk it?
You can give yourself an extra die with astrology, yep.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Please, fates, help me now.
So I just roll without astrology first,
that's
right?
just a separate die you'll add later, yep.
Oh,
So
gosh.
Oh, 0 successes. Man. Well, it was a base op 6, remember?
Oh, did I not?
Yeah, you did ob 2.
Ah, whoops.
Let's see. I'm gonna roll that again, not because this is an actual roll, but just to see what the difficulty on it is. Because it had 2 modifiers. Is it challenging? Yeah, of course. No. Oh man, if only you'd gotten that roll instead. That would have actually been possible. Well, go ahead and roll your astrology die. Roll a d6 greater than 4. If it comes up as a 6, it automatically re-rolls itself.
Did I do that right?
Yes, but I just realized that first roll. You know what? Let's. Oh, that was a 1. Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, so technically, roll 1 more die because you only put in 1 modifier. You should have had 2 because you have etiquette and persuasion.
Okay. Yeah, I think I accidentally put what the modifier was supposed to be with the obstacle. So what am I rolling?
Just roll another. Just do the same roll you just did.
Okay.
Okay, so you had 1 success, but now you have to re-roll that astrology die again because it got a 1. Remember, it open ends both ways, so now you could take off that success that you just got.
So I roll it again?
Yep. And you can just press up to go back to the thing you just rolled.
Oh, that's handy.
Isn't it?
It doesn't always work.
All right, so that one's good. That one's fine. So you don't get an extra success. That just means you don't lose a success. So you currently have 1 successes against an ob 6. But you can technically spend 1 fate to re-roll 1 failed dice. You would have to get 5 6s in a row, basically, or 4 6s in a row, and then a success to succeed. But that's technically an option. I'm just putting that out there. Also, you can keep in mind that even if it's not going to help you, spending a fate in Soothing Platitudes might be a thing you want to do, because if you want to be really good at Soothing Platitudes, then you could store up that Artha for a possible like shade shift later. That's another thing to consider. But you don't have to spend it. And it seems very unlikely that you would ever succeed.
Yeah, I don't think I'll spend it.
Sounds good. So you fail. But you can certainly mark that challenging...
Speaking of miserable failures.
Exactly. You can mark that challenging test on your soothing platitudes, though. Yeah, you did a great job. Let's see. Yeah, it would have been challenging no matter what. Cool. So you need 2 routines on that. You need to go soothe some people with a will of 1. Or rather, soothe people of like a will of 3 with a bunch of modifiers. Yeah. So your mom looks at you with that look where she's not mad. She's just disappointed. And she signs, "We'll talk about this tomorrow." And you know that means we'll talk about this with your father tomorrow. Because when she says we, she doesn't mean you and her. She means you and her father. And, her husband. And so we see you guys go into dinner. And you know your father's away on business tonight for something. So he was not here at dinner. But you guys walk into dinner together to do your thing. And I think we pick back up with Marcou Tisby. And he's going to go talk to these Connors. He's constable.
These what?
Connors. It's a slang term for constable.
Okay, I was like...
No, like a con
what?
Yeah, do you just like go up to the inspectors and say, "Hey, I'm an inspector too"?
Well, what's all this then? The typical, right? Actually, where are we again?
And in like a lower income neighborhood.
But like country wise, is this England? This is
this is like a French analog.
Okay, so they wouldn't say that then. Yeah, that's British that I was going off.
Yeah. This is the Kingdom of Auvergne. Kind of French-ish.
Okay. But I'm Finnish.
You're Finnish. Which is Irish, but also Australian.
Crikey. So I can tell they're constables?
Yeah, they have a particular uniform that you're familiar with.
Okay, so yeah, I'd probably just go up to him, just be, you know what? Let's look. I'm, what can I go off of? I'm trying to think of what I guess shrewd would probably be the closest thing I can think of, like going up to them with confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of like, I'm just gonna go. No, I'm not taking them out. I'm not.
Just kill them.
I have a wife. I'm not taking them out.
Oh gosh.
No, so I go up to him and say, "Constables?" Just kind of nod my head towards them.
Innocent bystander?
I'd offer my hand. Inspector Marcou Tisby. I was here last night, I believe.
Yeah, they kind of look at each other and they like look you up and down. I do not see the inspector uniform on you.
I say, I'm from Finley. We do things a little differently around there.
Finley. Yes, I can see that now. Or rather, I can hear that now.
And I just kind of, like, I'm thick-skinned. I don't care. I don't care
know
what
you
they
don't.
say.
Yeah, of course. And that they like, give each other another glance and then say, "As you can see, we have very important business to be about here. So would you be on your way kindly?"
How would I say this? They said they're on very important business. That's what they said, right?
Yeah.
This is how he says, like, well, it just so happens that your business is my business too. I've been investigating them. What was his name again? The person who got murdered?
The original person who got murdered?
Yeah,
Lord Maxence Bechard.
Can you put that in the chat real quick?
Of course.
Oh no, Lord Maxon, there we go.
Yep.
It's right there. Okay, never mind.
He's in Dead.
Yeah.
Dead NPCs.
I wanted to make sure I had it on my notes. And it was already there. I just didn't see it. Said, I've been investigating the murder of Lord Maxon, and I kind of cocked my head towards like the direction of his house. And I was talking to this bloke yesterday about What do you happen to know about everything that's been going on? He seems to be connected. I have a feeling that's why he was taken out.
Yeah, and like, you got to, let's just take a step back here. As the audience, we have to understand this is literally like some random like foreigner just like comes up to you as you're doing your police
That's
work.
drop dead gorgeous.
Exactly. But he just starts saying like, yeah, I'm also a tough police officer. But he has like no uniform, no badge. Like he's just some random guy. And these guys are just like, yeah, these guys are just like looking at each other like, what? And I think the main guy who's been talking to you just like takes a step forward and says, Mr. Tisby, was it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
As you can see, we have everything completely under control here. There is nothing to worry about. You can continue on with your personal business as you wish. We have this investigation under control, and I am positive that my what is he gonna say? My commissar will look into this Lord Maxence Bechard as well.
No point. I'm already taking care of it. And I'd appreciate it if you give any information you receive from, any information you receive about Ferret to Mr. Bertrand Crozier, if that's how you pronounce it.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Crozier, you say? He is the gentleman who, runs the Harmony Opera House now?
Yes, he's my uncle.
Oh, easy now. Very interesting. And I don't suppose that you would have any identifying papers?
I would imagine I've got something. I just don't know what I would have.
Do you want to make a rule of law test to like know the right things to have and like have them on you?
What could I fork into? Could I do rule of law forking into persuasion?
No, this
convince him that I didn't have the
rule of law would be like a link test for the persuasion your test you're gonna have to make here to get this information out of them.
I'm trying to think of what modifiers I could have.
It'd be an ob2 rule of law test.
What are things I could get? What are things that would help me? I can't think of anything.
I can take a look. Let's
inconspicuous,
see.
Maybe?
No.
Maybe this said maybe?
Wow, I don't think you have anything.
So currently there's like
nothing else that helps you with rule of law, I don't think, no.
So currently there's a 50-50 chance that I'm not going to make it.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But I have fate.
Yeah, you do have fate. And you have a persona, so if you want to spend that persona, you can spend it to...
I want to keep a persona in case I die.
Exactly, yeah. Good plan.
Ob2, you said?
Ob2.
Okay, just out of curiosity, like an Ob2, is that like a roll on a D20 roll? Like what's the equivalent?
The actual chances here?
Yeah. I know right now it's a 50-50
yeah,
chance.
50-50. So in terms of like how difficult those things are, there's a quick
I think it's 50.
Like scale here. I'll find it real quick. So 2 is an act performed routinely at your job. That's the sort of difficulty that is.
Mm-hmm.
So. And right now you have a 4 in that, which basically means in terms of like how skilled you are at something. There's another chart here somewhere. Basically means, I think I found it. No, maybe not. Maybe I don't know where it is. It's like another chart here somewhere that like says, oh, here it is. Exponent 4 is competent. Everyday stuff doesn't pose a challenge. So,
Well, we'll see.
yeah, we'll see.
Okay, here goes nothing.
It's an up to.
Oh,
Nice.
Just barely.
Just barely. All right, you can mark that routine test on your rule of law.
Yay.
Cool.
So say, yeah, I've got my, and I'll like pull out my papers and like I know the form's names and everything.
Right, and so let's think about what exactly kind of papers you would have for this. So like what?
Because chances are I would have gotten things ready.
Maybe you have like a
after-
contract from Crozier. Like he actually like contracted you legally to do this. Yes, you just like show them the contract.
Yeah, here's my contract right here.
Yeah, so that he's like looking at it and kind of frowning. And now say the last thing you're gonna say before you make whatever test you're gonna make. To like convince them to help you in your investigation.
I know that. Do I know that Lord Maxon was a pretty important person in this town?
From what your uncle has told you, you could make like a noble wise test to know more about this, but from what your oh my goodness, dog. You know that he was an eccentric, but whether or not he was important, unclear to you based on what you know about him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was a nobleman, so obviously he was somewhat important, but you don't. Maybe you have a hard time like judging how important a particular nobleman is in the social ladder.
I think I have an idea of what I want to say. I'm just trying to work it through in my head. I think I have a really dumb way to say this, but I don't want to think about it for too long. It's like, look, you got a bunch of high society folk freaking out. No, how do I say this? You got a bunch of high society folk with their knickers in a twist right now over this. The sooner we get this taken care of, the better for all of us.
Perfect. Yeah, that's a persuasion test.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think anything I can fork into.
If you would have gotten higher on that rule of law, you would get an extra die from that.
I'm just glad I passed it at this point.
Yeah. That's what kind of allowed you to make the roll in the first place, so at least you got that. Let's see. So the ob is their will, so it's going to be ob 4.
Dang. It's like not a great chance right now. So ob 4 on persuasion.
Think so. Yep.
I have fate, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no! But I got a 6.
You got a 6, so there's a 1 in 12 chance that you'll succeed if you spend it. But you can also decide to spend 2 fate, and you can reroll 2 dice, right? Because 1 is a 6, and then 1 is a failed dice.
Okay, I might. Oh, so you can only use fate to reroll 1 dice. Is that the thing?
So the way it works is you can spend a fate to reroll all of the 6s that you've rolled.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we got all of the 6s.
All of the 6s, but you only got 1 6. And you can spend a fate to roll 1 failed dice. But you have to choose. You have to choose before you roll whether or not you're spending 1 or 2.
I think I have to spend 2 because. But this is like this is actually no. This is a 25% chance this will just go haywire. This is only 25% chance this won't go haywire. But I mean, I pretty much is it best to use the fate when you can?
Especially if it's something on something that you're going to use a lot and would expect to maybe eventually want to get a shade shift in, yes,
what is persuasion?
You're going to get a lot of fate. It's based on will, but you'd be putting it in persuasion itself.
Okay, and that's something I would like to put.
Exactly, right? Like having a gray shaded persuasion would be great for you.
Okay, I'll spend 2 fate points and put 2 in here.
Yep, on persuasion.
And now roll 2d6 greater than 4.
You got a 6. That one rerolls.
So I have a 50-50 shot right now. Please.
No.
Dang it!
Oh, so
Dang
close.
it!
Also, something to note, another thing you can do with the macro there is at the end of that thing, if you want to put an exclamation point, it automatically re-rolls 6s for you.
Oh, okay.
So that's something to do.
They're not going to do anything for me.
Yeah, so it looks like they're just about to break and be like, well, I guess we shouldn't be jerks. And then they glance at each other one more time. They're like, nah, we feel like jerks today. Let's be jerks. And so I think the guy just takes one more look at your contract, sniffs, and then just like throws it on the ground and steps on it in the mud.
Gosh, ultra jerk.
Yeah, and he says, we don't take kindly to private investigators around these parts. You can go back to your hole and go investigate something more worth your while, like whether or not a servant has crapped in the wrong spot.
How bad would it be right now if I just said something bad, like mean to them?
Probably pretty bad.
Remember, you're thick-skinned. This your stuff doesn't normally bother you.
Oh, I know. But wait, the thing is though, I'm also a rabble rouser.
True, very true.
So here's So what I'm gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm gonna bend down, pick up my contract. Like, okay, fine. I'll go to my little hole, and when I get there, and I'm gonna turn around and say, when I get there, I'll make sure to say hi to your mom.
Oh my gosh. Dang.
Gosh.
It's what he'd say.
Oh boy. Oh my. Okay, so is there an intent there? Do you want to provoke him? Is that what do you want him to punch you?
No, I'm just being snarky.
Okay, do you want him not to punch you? Do you want to get away with the insult?
Yes.
I think that's an intimidation check to see if you can get away with that, where you look just threatening enough that they don't actually try something with you.
Okay.
Seth's character's just gonna die today. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna beat him up, and he's gonna
He can't
die
die.
in
He
the
has a
street.
persona point.
Yeah. That's why I kept it. If I'm not getting information, I'm at least having fun with it. That's the way I see it. So can I? What can I fork in? Intimidation. There's like brawling, streetwise, persuasion.
I think you can fork in. Well, your persuasion failed, so I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, that's true.
You can fork in streetwise, I think. Right? You have the sort of swagger about you.
Okay, just one modifier then.
Yeah, and it's unfortunately going to be an ob4 again because it's their will.
Oh no. Oh no, what have I done? This is gonna give me there's a good chance I'm just getting punched in the face right here, but honestly I don't think I care. Here goes nothing. Wait, let me make sure I'm scrolling to the right area. Oh, that was but I got
that
doesn't matter.
6s.
Doesn't matter, I don't have any
Oh,
points.
you don't have any fate left? Oh no. Sad day. That's very sad. All right, well you can mark that difficult test on intimidation though. I mean, yeah, they both definitely try to beat you up.
Wait, did I forget to mark my persuasion? I did. It doesn't matter. There's no 0 in there. Wait. That persuasion says it was routine?
Yep.
How is that?
You're rolling 6 against 4.
Oh, okay,
It's
right.
just routine enough to be routine.
See, I failed my intimidation.
Yeah, so you say that, and then they just like punch you and just try to beat you up. So their intent is to like rough you up enough that you're gonna get injured, but they're not gonna try to kill you. At least not unless you escalate further. And also, by the way, these guards have the things they have on them. They have like cudgels They're like these little club things, and they have pistols. They have firearms.
I only have a knife.
Yeah. All they're going to do, they're just going to try to punch you a bunch. And yeah, their intent is to rough you up so that you'll learn your lesson and get a wound. And they'll probably use their cudgels too, to prove a point. But they're not trying to kill you. They're just forking it in. They're using brawling as their skill here. And that means your ob is 4. Oh, wow. They rolled so well on that.
Come on, Caleb.
I didn't try.
This game is just not going well for Zeph.
No, it's not. So what do I have to roll?
You're rolling, I mean, whatever you're fighting back with, right? Like, how do you defend this?
Speed, getting away? Or
Yeah, you could just try to book it, right? You could try to escape. Or you could use brawling to, like, not
My
be beat
speed
up.
is 4.
So I guess, what's your intent? What do you want to happen here?
Okay.
Their intent is to beat you up, teach you a lesson, give you a wound.
Could I? Okay, so. You said streetwise. Oh, okay, so I can't fork into a skill if I'm using a stat.
You cannot.
See, my speed and agility are 4, which means I have to roll perfectly. I was thinking maybe streetwise to kind of just like use the streets to kind of like get away and blend in with everyone else.
Let me double check that skill. Make sure that is something that would be possible. Yeah, I think you could use streetwise after you've either gotten away or
I can't
defended yourself. In the initial moment, you have to either do a speed test to run. Which also, again, given the way Burning Wheel works, this would be counted as a being learned test towards the skill running, which could be a thing, right? Like the skill sprinting.
The thing is though, there's no way I can make a 4. There's like very low chance I can make a 4.
Yes,
it's
especially if it's doubled. Because
if it's
it would
doubled,
be a
it's
stat
impossible.
versus a skill, exactly. So
it'd be impossible. I'd have to roll 6s twice.
Yeah, your best chance here is to probably try brawling to like defend yourself at first.
Even then, that's a 2. That's lower.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what can I even do? Is it doubled no matter what?
It's doubled if you're using a stat or a being learned.
Okay, so if I did brawling, forking in streetwise and No, I already did that.
Yeah, you failed with intimidation. They're not intimidated by you at all.
There's just nothing.
What's
I can
your intent?
do.
Tell us what your intent is, and then we can decide what forks are possible here.
My intent is just to kind of get out of there. I mean,
Right,
that's why I
so
said like I turned around when I said that.
You're defending yourself enough so that you can daze them long enough so you can run. Okay. So if that's the case, I think you could fork an inconspicuous and streetwise.
With brawling?
Yes, because your task here or your intent here is to punch and then get away. So it's all kind of one thing.
This is still nearly impossible for me to make, but that's at least 2 modifiers.
Yeah. If you wanted to also like kill one of them, you could fork it murder-wise.
No, I don't want to get myself into deeper trouble.
Yeah.
That's also only gives me like does murder-wise help me kill someone?
Yeah, of course it does.
Does it help
God.
keep me does it help people from does it help me prevent people from killing me?
Yes, but they're not trying to kill you.
Damn. Okay, so that's 4.
Yep, 4 versus 4.
Goodbye, everybody. Yeah, it's not happening.
So close,
I got
but
2
so far away.
successes.
You can mark that difficult test on brawling. Good old Marco. So what happens is you get beat up in the street. This old man who they've been interrogating just like walks away and like is just like, well, I guess they're not talking to me anymore because they're just beating up this random guy. You're gonna get a let's look at your wound stuff here. You're gonna get a midi wound. So if you go to that combat section, I might have put you there already. You're gonna mark the little bubble, the first bubble next to where it says MI, the B6.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
The combat section of your character sheet.
I'm looking at weapons. Where are you looking at?
Very top. Injury and recovery. Yeah.
Yeah. Here you
that
go.
B6. Mark that. That first bubble. Yeah. So what that means is every time you try to do something that isn't like circles or resources or something, you get a -2 dice to what you're doing until you get treated and recover from it.
I'm probably gonna do that first, honestly.
So basically, what happens, right? You get beat up in the street. You're just laying there like, oh gosh, and you don't have any stats that are at 2, right? No, you don't. If you had a stat that was at 2, you would go unconscious. So if you got a wound that is like 3 dice, then you would have gone unconscious because you have a 4 of 3. But you're still conscious. You're just laying on the ground, beat up. And I guess, I mean, what do you do after they
get
rough
up,
you
go
and
back to the playhouse?
Okay. I think what happens is, you notice very briefly, the prostitute again as you start walking away. She's like looking at you from the same alley. Do you do anything or just keep walking?
Is she with the kid?
No, you don't see the kid. You don't know the kid exists yet.
Okay, no, but I'm just making sure, like, okay.
Mhm.
I don't know, because she's already established she wouldn't tell me anything, but
Yeah, you see her there. I'm just curious.
part of me wants to do something. I'm just trying to think of an excuse of why I would. Probably just. Is she? How far off is she?
Like a dozen yards from you.
So, like, within earshot?
Yeah.
Honestly. Is that the opposite direction of where of the playhouse?
It's like perpendicular.
Okay. I'd probably like walk kind of towards the playhouse and towards her at the same time.
Okay. And do you like acknowledge her presence, like with your eyes or whatever?
Yeah, probably, maybe.
Okay. So she catches her gaze, and again, gets a little startled that you actually noticed her. And then she starts to like raise a hand, almost like she's worried about you or something, and then she stops and just like kind of freezes. What? Peyton.
My gosh!
I'm gonna tell your mother you just said that.
Wait, what just happened?
In the chat. I'm not gonna repeat it. I'll let Caleb repeat it if he wants. No, I'll probably look to her and say, like, they do that often?
Yeah, she pauses for just a moment longer and then says, she just nods.
I kind of figured. Not wants to take a joke.
Yeah. And she's just like staring at you awkwardly.
There reason you came back?
This is my place. This is my area. And you can tell that that's a lie. That's sure something else.
Oh, wait, let me. I've not been. I've not been taking notes. I'll keep thinking. It's like, this is my place. I like. I'll probably just. Probably what happens is, like, I'll spit some blood in my mouth and say, like, yeah, no, I'm a basset hound.
So you want to like call her out her bluff, basically?
Yeah.
I mean, that's another ugly truth roll.
Oh, I didn't mark that one. That last one actually.
What was that? A roll on exactly.
It didn't succeed. I remember that.
It would have been a bubble. Yeah, it would have been routine. But yeah, I mean, same thing. I think it's odd one that will double to 2.
I failed last time.
You shouldn't have, but you did.
I know. Believe me. Come on!
Oh, you have wound dice this time. I forgot.
Come on!
Yeah, so you can't quite be as like on with your words as you would because you're in pain. Yeah.
I'll mark it at least.
0 successes. Yeah, you gotta still a routine, I think. Yeah. Cool.
Well, it's being learned. So it's
right.
just
Yeah, but routine would mean a dot. If it was a difficult or challenging, it would have been on your perception. So yeah, I think she just again shakes her head and then says, "I hope you feel better," and then she just walks away.
I've just been useless this session.
Poor Marco.
Well, I head back to the freaking theater house. And...
Yeah. So let's figure out this wound stuff real quick. So let's see. You had a midi wound. How does that work exactly? So the test to recover may not be taken until.
Actually, I was gonna say something before she walks off.
Do you ask her for a name or something?
No. Actually, I'd say, what's your name?
Okay. Yes, she says. Grace Kindlin. And that's a Finnish name. Well, Kindlin specifically.
I'll respond, Marco Tisby. And would she kind of like to get the idea of like the idea that I'm also Finnish?
Right. Yeah. She nods. She says, yeah, so she nods and she says, I knew already. You have a much more pronounced accent than most of us here.
It changes constantly too. I haven't practiced this accent very much. Like, well, Grace kind of spits out more blood. Like,
yeah.
If you have anything more to say, find me at the what's it called again?
The Harmony Opera House.
Find me at the Harmony Opera House. I'll be there till we figure out this mess. Something's coming for you. Come find me first.
She nods slowly, and then walks away.
And then I go to that. So at least I.
Yeah, and we see you walk away, and then we see her like come back around the corner and like look, check to see if you're gone, and she walks over to the house because the commissioners or the inspectors have just left. They don't really care about the rest of this. I think they realize they're like, actually, this guy just doesn't matter. I don't think we care if he died or not. And because he's just a random guy. And this like low income neighborhood. And she goes over to the house, goes inside, and we see her come out with like a teddy bear, basically. And then she walks away. And so yeah, for a midi wound, you need to find someone to treat you. First,
what I was gonna do is I was gonna go back to the opera house and find, and I'll just say this because it'll probably go over fairly quickly.
Yeah.
I'll go and find Bertrand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Coach was like, go into his office, to a person to his office, look at him like, please hear a bunch of tosses.
Yeah. Oh my. By the words of fealty, Marco, you look like you've had a rough day.
You could say that.
Well, I'll see if we can find someone for you. And then
Appreciate it.
Yeah, he goes to like find a hire a doctor or whatever to take care of you.
As he's kind of well, actually, wait, sorry, keep going.
You're good.
I was just gonna say, like, as he's like after he finds a doctor and the guy, as he's like, patching me up, I probably like explained to him like, oh, that's not a good
So
thing.
he finds a doctor who is not his best friend in the world, but that's basically what happens, and he just has to like convince him real quick to.
As the guy's like patching me up and everything, I kind of explain to Bertrand kind of like what's been going on and like say how there's a guy that looks like he essentially just filling him in on everything that happened. So he's probably like, what the heck happened?
Yeah. Yeah. So he lies to the guy about something. You don't really hear the details and convinces them to come.
Okay.
Treat you.
I need to stop wearing this. This blanket keeps shocking me. I'll like scrape it against my. I'll pull it up to like get it further on me, and it'll just static all over my ears. It hurts.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and roll for this guy's like field dressing or whatever to like bandage you up. Oh my gosh!
I had such an awful day.
You got a
Marco's terrible, awful, no good, very bad day.
Yeah,
I've been beat up,
seriously.
found a crummy doctor.
Okay, well,
Prostitute won't tell me things I need to know.
failed treatment for MIDI. Let's see. So
You're doing this on purpose, Caleb.
I am not. So MIDI wounds need to be treated before the conclusion of the session, or else the wound becomes a severe wound. This guy failed to treat you. So yeah, essentially what's happened is that either the doctor has basically thrown up his hands and said, "There's nothing I can do." Like he's like, "I don't have he isn't bleeding internally. This is actually worse than I thought."
Well, I thought it was a mini wound. Maybe can we say it's actually just because the guy really doesn't like him and just doesn't want to
Probably,
do it anyway?
yeah. He just tries to get out of it somehow, and he's just like, "Oh no." So what he does is he patches you up, but like he didn't do a very good job on purpose, and then he leaves, and then yeah, like I guess you just keep feeling worse. Oh, okay. So for
This is why I kept my 1 point, my persona.
oh wow,
I'm gonna die.
no, you're not gonna die.
You're just gonna suffer.
Okay, so go ahead and make an OB 3 health test for me. You have to roll to like recover, but basically this is like you're recovering despite the fact that you really haven't been treated very well yet.
Ob 3 health. I can't fork
There's
into
not
anything.
really anything you can fork in for health tests, unfortunately.
Like the thing is, like I'm thinking, like I have all these traits that are like not helpful at all.
Yeah, and again, you can always lobby for an advantage die based on trait, but I don't know if you have any that really actually help in the situation.
Oh, cold-blooded probably is why I did the thing with the police.
Right, yeah.
Nope. There's nothing. There's nothing.
Make
I'm
a
just in
health
trouble.
test.
Ob 3.
Yep.
Okay. Ob 3. Come on,
I would just like to say,
statistics.
Seth, you brought this on yourself. You really have.
Sure, I wrote.
I like you failed. All right, so mark
I'm awful at this.
mark that difficult test on your health, though. Okay, so what happens if you fail to recover this?
I die of dysentery.
So 1 die is permanently subtracted from an appropriate stat. But you can obviously get it back by like testing and stuff. But I don't know. Seth, which one do you think of your 4 physical stats? You just got crippled a little bit.
I can't use my Can I use my persona to counteract this at all?
You can use your persona in the future if you come up because you're still gonna have 1 die of wound penalty for a certain amount of weeks, while this actually like continues recovering. But then like the 1 die is like permanently lost. So you could spend a persona at that point to do it, but at this point, yeah, you could have spent a persona when you got the midi wound to like redirect. Actually, you could technically spend the midi wound or spend the persona now if you really wanted to like say, well, I failed this health test, but what if I try something else and like try to get someone else, like maybe redirect, because you have to redirect the situation to something that's still bad, but maybe it's like you wandering around the town trying to find a doctor to heal you when you're in a delirium because you have a fever from this wound. Maybe what happened, because so if you spend a persona point, what I'll say is you probably like wake up in the middle of the night feverish and you realize that you were like not well at all. And I'll give you like a roll or two to like wander aimlessly around the town trying to find one last person to like heal you in time to not have a permanent subtraction.
I wish I'd known I could use the persona to get rid of the mini wound in the first place.
Yeah, you could have used the persona to redirect the narrative away from the thing that gave you the mini wound, but it's way past at this point. So
I wish I'd known that. I'd have done it. I thought I could just use it to make sure I don't die.
Again, you can use it to survive a mortal wound, or you can use it to redirect your.
Okay, so I'll sure. So you'll essentially give me a few more chances to find someone.
Basically,
then?
Yeah, you're like wandering through the town at midnight, feverish, like because it has to be bad. It has to be like a costly bad situation you're still in, but there's a chance that you can actually not.
What would I be able to? What would I be able to
roll a circles test, or maybe like a streetwise test?
Streetwise, please. I have 5 on that.
So what you could do, Marco, is you could go to the slummier part of the city, roll a streetwise to find some sort of crack doctor who will do the job, but maybe either cost you an arm or a leg, or have unintended side effects.
That's worse.
Right. That's the kind of the point, right? But it's possible you could actually walk out of this not having the subtraction.
Or have one and then more?
No. Basically what this persona point is allowing you to do is redo that health test and not recover yet. And recover badly, right? You'll have another chance to get treated and recover.
But would it still be an Ob 3?
It will still be an Ob 3, but you can, for successful treatment, you get advantage die to that.
I'm confused. What?
If someone successfully treats your wound, you get advantage dice to your health roll.
Fine.
So we see Marco in the middle of the night, feverish, just like, is there a doctor? Hello?
So now I roll streetwise?
Yeah, let me look at that skill real quick.
Maybe a certain deaf girl comes to his mind that knew something about plants.
But that's plants, though. I got beat up.
You could technically also do that. I mean, she had herbalism.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, that would certainly be a bad situation if you show up at her house in the middle of the night.
Actually, heck, I'd go for that. That's a better bad situation than what you're suggesting.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't.
That's fine.
Do I technically know where she lives? I guess I could. That would be the streetwise check.
Yeah.
You probably would have gotten her name, or at least Joe's name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an Ob 1 streetwise test to know where she lives based on.
Okay, I'll go for that because it's
see. Still possible if you could fail this, but
given everything that's happened, I think that makes it a 33% chance of getting this because of everything.
Yeah.
Because I have the -2.
Also, that persona point you spent goes into health.
Huh?
That persona point that you spent goes into health.
Oh, right.
Cool.
So streetwise.
This is a great session so far.
For you, because you're watching me suffer.
Exactly.
Ob 1?
Yeah, Ob 1. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you only got one. Oh, because you still have the wound dice, of course.
I know! That's why I said I had a 33% chance!
I'm just
Oh my
wandering around.
God.
You barely remember. You almost miss it, and then you find the house that says like the August Estate or whatever. And so what? You just knock on the front gate, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. So a servant comes. So both Joe and Viviane, at any point, you could like show up in this scene, like if you get woken up in the middle of the night somewhere, right? But a servant comes to the
Viviane's
gate.
probably awake.
Yeah, a servant comes to the gate and basically, or like the guard or whatever, right? Says, "Who are you?"
I knew Vivian's name, right?
Probably.
I look at for Vivian.
Lady Viviane Auguste, you'll have to come back in the morning. This is no time to be paying call to such a noble lady.
I mean, I think that's probably when Viviane is like, "Oh, I heard." Oh, well, I guess she wouldn't hear her
How-
name.
What I think this might make most
But
sense.
she's like
right?
walking through.
Again,
So
this
what-
is
what
no,
if-
so you have an estate, Viviane. This is the
Right.
front gate of the complex. You're in
Oh,
the
okay.
building that's like.
Okay,
There's
I
no
see.
way that either of you hear this unless you
Okay.
happen to be wandering
So-
around the
Well,
estate.
so what if Joe's coming back from the meeting
I went
that
late.
she had
Sure.
late at
Okay.
night?
Ah.
Yeah, you can do that.
Nice.
So Joe like walks up and she's like, "Inspector?"
Oh, thank goodness! Like it's like he's probably like making a face. He's probably about to say something he's going to regret to the servant. Turns like, oh, thank goodness.
Is there something wrong with the investigation?
There's something wrong with me. Therefore, the investigation. I need to see Vivian. I saw a bit of a crack doctor earlier today, and I am not feeling great. Talk to I'll say blame I forgot his name, dang it. Blame Bertrand for that.
I mean, Vivian is skilled with some medicines. I don't know if she'd be able to help your specific condition.
She's the best option I got right now. I don't know anyone in this town. I don't know anyone in this blooming town.
Okay, so Joe, you can also tell that he is obviously delirious. Like,
Yeah.
feverish.
I don't know if she wants, she's like, she like tells the guard, she's like, "Walk with us, please, sir."
Yeah, and then he nods and he lets you guys in, and you walk. Marco, how do you walk or?
I'm probably stumbling a little
Yeah,
bit. Let's face it, this hasn't been his day.
I mean, I just tell the guard to like help him, but like,
Yeah.
like obviously keep an eye on him.
Okay, so yeah, you guys get into.
But he's not dangerous. Like Joe's like, I know that this guy isn't like here to like do any like hurt us.
Yeah.
I mean, he is dangerous. He's not here to hurt you, but he is dangerous.
Well, those guards
There's-
didn't think so, but.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah. So I mean, we can just like cut to the moment where Joe like wakes up Viviane in the middle of the night and says like, "Hey, can you?" If that's.
I mean,
something
if
Joe would
she's
do.
up, like, yeah.
Yeah, you can just go to her study and see a light on, right? Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just go into her room and just sign to her like, this man, he's here. See you, he's sick. Like really sick.
Yeah, so she gets up.
Do you
and
have anything?
goes to him. Well, I mean, she asks like
Yeah, we assume you get all the details.
What
We can
right,
just
kind of
we can
sick.
just get through that. And as you guys are signing to each other,
Yeah.
like Joe explains, like it looks like he's like beat up, and he's like feverish, and yeah,
I mean, she can see him, obviously.
exactly. And then you see him, and then you understand more. So yes, Viviane, you can certainly roll an herbalism test to try to treat him here.
Please.
Um,
Please. I don't want to die. I spent my persona point to find you.
okay.
spent my persona point, and then I found you. Suddenly I saw you. Okay, so
Okay.
treatment of herbalism with a midi wound is an OB 4 test.
Okay. Can I fork in tree-wise, plant-wise, and flower-wise?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I
We
love
basically
having
we
so
take
many.
we take Marco out to the garden and you like grab the herbs there and just like yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
at some point he's like, you go find it, I'm gonna lie down.
Hey,
Just like lie down in the grass.
I'm teaching someone to appreciate my garden.
Oh. Okay.
I don't think he's in a very appreciative of anything right now. Well, no,
Yeah,
he
but
probably
if
would
it
be.
works, if it
He would.
works.
Okay, I'll put it this way: he would be in the morning, but right now he's like, I just want to not die.
What did you say the obstacle was? 4?
I think you said 4, yeah.
Yeah, it's enough 4, right?
Caleb just likes killing my characters.
Caleb, it's ob 4, right?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. Dang it.
Oh, no!
Hey, you have a 6.
Okay.
And you can also spend another fate if you want to spend 2 to reroll a failed dice. Yeah, there's a 25% chance. If you have that many fate, I don't know how many fate you have.
I'm just gonna die.
You're not gonna die.
At this rate, it feels like it's like this just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Welcome to the burning wheel, my friends. Especially when you get a wound. Like this is how injuries in real life work. Like, especially in the medieval era.
Right. This isn't D&D, which like, oh, I slept, so I'm fine.
Exactly.
Or better yet, I just sat for an hour, and now I have
Exactly.
like most of my hit points back.
You have 4 fate, Viviane.
Oh, okay.
It's in the middle of, it's below your like attributes, and then Artha, above your skills.
Okay.
And if anything I've learned is they're good to use.
So go ahead and mark those 2 on herbalism. There should be a little bubble that says F next to herbalism. Mark that you've spent them on that, and then delete them.
Definitely been a lot of F's for me.
So do I just
yeah.
put a 1? Wait, what am I doing?
So you're taking your max fate right now from 4 to 2, and then you're putting those 2 in the little bubble that says F next to herbalism on your skill list.
Okay. So I'm putting a 2 in the bubble?
Yep.
Okay.
You're putting a 2 in both bubbles, basically, right? In that bubble and the bubble that says fate up where you have your 4.
I see. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Because you've spent 2 from that pool and put them in your herbalism. Okay. So now roll 2d6. So go ahead and do /roll 2d6, space 2d6, greater than 4, and then an exclamation point, which will automatically reroll any 6s for you.
Okay.
Oh, wow. 0 successes. Oh, boy. Well, you can mark that routine in herbalism.
I'm gonna die!
So, Marco, Viviane, your herbalism does not, unfortunately, live up to the challenge here.
Definitely don't appreciate your garden right now.
So,
I mean, could it just be like you're beat up? I don't know what to do about that.
exactly right. I think, Viviane, you just realized you don't have
like
the proper
maybe
stuff
I
to
can give you
actually-
some pain relief, but like
Yeah, and that's basically all it is, but you didn't actually do enough to...
Yeah.
So you're going to have to make that health test again, Marco, with no advantage, but it's still an ob 3. You still have a chance of succeeding, and if you do, I think you still lose the die, but it's better for you in terms of recovery.
No modifiers.
No. Good luck.
I'm
my
just
friend.
banking on the fact I'm probably gonna be
Nope. You get to mark. Well, it's the same difficult test because we redid it basically.
Don't even get to do it twice.
Look at all those failures.
Yep.
I haven't succeeded at a
So-
single freaking thing tonight.
Except your streetwise to
Yep.
get here.
And then only barely. Okay, so Seth, go ahead and roll a 2d6 for me. Just flat 2d6.
10.
It's going to take you 10 weeks to fully recover from this. Until then, you will have that -1 die to whatever you do. So on your combat section, I'm going to go ahead and put it to a light wound so that it's 1 dice you're going to get off from everything. And then go ahead and choose a physical stat to remove 1 die permanently from
What's
at least
the difference
until you
between,
get it back.
What's the difference between agility and speed?
Agility is hand-eye coordination. Speed is like your feet, basically. That's
I'll
the way
probably say it's speed then.
Yeah, you have a limp now, basically, for now. And again, this isn't a permanent like handicap. You didn't get a trait or anything for this, but you'll have to like work at that stat again to get it back up to 4. Yeah, so you have a pronounced limp from this whole event. Marco had a bad day. A very, very bad day. So let's go ahead and take one more quick break, and we'll come back, do probably one more scene, and then call it a night. We'll be back with more Lavender Shadows. So very sorry, Marco Tisby. You insulted too many guards, so this is your fate. We'll be right back with more Lavender Shadows right after this.